So Corel is a huge region expanding all the way from Costa del Sol through Mount Corel, then through North Corel, the Golden Saucer, the Dust Bowl, and then the big open desert in South Corel. And in this video, we're going to be checking out some of the most important things you want to make sure you don't miss in this region. There is a small exception. We are not going to be covering the Golden Saucer in this episode, as the Golden Saucer expands over multiple visits that you return to later on in Chapter 9 and then again in Chapter 12. So we will be making another one of these videos dedicated entirely to the Golden Saucer, as it encompasses so many different things. With that said, let's not waste any more time and jump right into it. The first thing you're going to do as soon as you get to Costa del Sol is jump on one of these wheelies. And we're going to just drive around for 4,000 meters. The reason we want to do this is that after we've done our 4,000 meters, we speak with the tourist guide here at the desk. He's going to give us the Pedometer Pin. This accessory will allow us to gain gil by simply walking around taking steps. So definitely pick this up now you're here. You can also buy star pendants now from the accessory vendor in Costa del Sol. This accessory is going to make you completely immune to poison, which is going to be useful not only for the boss of Chapter 6, but for a few enemies later on in the game. Now you definitely want to pick up the Time Materia, which is the reward for getting 15,000 points on the Pirate Rampage Brigantine minigame. The Time Materia will allow you to use the spells Haste, Slow, and even Stop, so definitely pick this one up. In the section of Costa del Sol where you're controlling Aerith and Tifa, you want to make sure you get in first place in the Run Wild minigame. This is the football one that you play with Red. If you get undisputed first place, you're going to get his silver collar weapon. During the Costa del Sol main story events, you want to make sure you're doing all of the blue objectives to make sure you're getting all of the companion cards which you can trade for all of the swimwear. Now really, for the story, you only need one piece of swimwear for each character. However, they're really quick events, so you may as well do all of the objectives just so you can trade the companion cards for all of the different types of swimwear. If you are feeling brave, you can actually get the Alexander summon from the Chadley's combat simulation as early as Chapter 6. However, during Chapter 6, you won't have access to any of the divine intel, meaning it's going to be a pretty tough fight, so I'd recommend waiting until a little bit later on when you have access to the divine intels of this region. When we start chapter number 7, we're not quite done with Costa del Sol yet. As soon as we start the 7th chapter, we're going to go back down to the beach and do the Rendezvous in Costa del Sol side quest. This is going to unlock a bunch of things. The first thing it's going to unlock is to have free access to the Chocobo rentals, meaning we can now use Chocobos in the Corel region without the need of paying for the rental every time. It will also unlock the side quest at the training gym to unlock Jules and the Crunch-Off trials, which we're going to be talking about a little bit later on. And last but not least, it's also going to unlock an extra level for the minigames of the Pirates Rampage and the Run Wild minigame. Now, during the side quest itself, we can only get rank 2. However, if we come back to these minigames after completing the side quest, we can actually get rank number 3. Now, if we get rank 3 on the Ghost Ship challenge, we're going to get the Wind Materia earring. And if we get the rank 3 on the Time Trial challenge for the Run Wild minigame, we're going to be getting the Platinum Earrings. Now heading out into the first part of Corel that we have access to in chapter number 7. The first thing we're going to do is head under the floorboards here on the pier, as you can see here in the video. And there's going to be a chest. Inside this chest, we're going to get the healing Carcanet. This accessory is amazing for your healer, as it's going to increase the power of your healing spells, your healing items, and even your healing abilities. Now, we mentioned before that by doing the Rendezvous in Costa del Sol side quest, we also unlocked a side quest here at the training gym. Once we complete this side quest, we're going to have access to the Crunch-Off challenges here at the training gym, which are very similar to the pull-up challenges in the first part of the remake. But it's definitely worth doing all 3 of these challenges, as when you defeat Jules, you get the Champion's Belt. This is going to give you plus 10% HP and plus 5% strength. Now, the best tip I can give you for this is make sure that you're playing on performance mode and not on graphics mode. I didn't really notice this because I always play on performance mode anyway, but a bunch of people in the comments of one of my videos were specifically saying that make sure you're playing on performance mode, as it does make this minigame a lot easier. Now that you have access to a decent amount of the intels in the Corel region, you can actually go to Chadley and go into Materia Development and get the Auto Weapon Ability Materia from Chadley. If you've been following my 100% walkthroughs, you probably already have at least 1 or 2 of these materia anyway, but in case you don't, make sure you pick one of these up. Quick side note on this materia, while it does say that it will allow your characters to use their weapon abilities freely without you having to command it to them, I believe it only includes the abilities that are actually equipped to the shortcuts on that character. So if you don't have said weapon ability equipped to the shortcuts of that character, they won't actually use them even with this materia equipped, so make sure you take that into account. Another quick side note, make sure you are doing at least the Expedition Intel in this area here, just to unlock the Excavation Intel. You're going to need this for a side quest that we're going to be doing a little bit later on. Now, starting the climb to Mount Corel. As soon as we start the climb here, just after the cutscene where a few of the characters go on ahead and you stay behind with Aerith, you're going to go to the left of the bench here and find another weapon for Aerith. A little bit later on in the coal mines, you're going to find the Twin Viper, which is another weapon for Yuffie. You're most likely not going to miss this one, as it's directly after picking up the hookshot ability and you have to swing across, Once you swing across, it's going to be in the chest directly in front of you, so like I said, it's very hard to miss. Again, even further into the coal mines, you're going to find another weapon for Barrett. Now this one is as soon as you're going to go down to an area with 2 of the cockatrice enemies. This is going to be the second encounter you have with cockatrices, and then turn off to the right outside here, and you're going to find it out here in a chest. Next up, right near the end of the Mount Corel section, where you're controlling Cloud and it's walking on the tracks, you're going to come across a switch that if you switch it one way, it's going to benefit your friendship with Barrett, and the other's going to benefit your friendship with Yuffie. But just after this, if we follow the train tracks down to the right, and then climb up the ladder here on the left-hand side, you're going to find the safety bit accessory. This thing is absolutely essential. Make sure you pick this up. It's going to make you immune to instant death, stone, and petrify. For any of you who have played pretty much any other Final Fantasy game, just know that the Tonberry sections are coming up, so this is going to be absolutely essential. Now going to the opposite of death, we can actually find a revival materia here in North Corel once we make it to the small settlement. For this, we're going to climb to the top of North Corel and then drop down in front of the medics. I did realize after recording this that we're taking a long way round. You don't actually need to walk all the way up here and then turn around. There's actually a pathway just to the left of the entrance of the town, but I didn't realize this until I'd already picked up the revival materia, so we're going to be taking it this way in the video. Like I said, we're going to be skipping over the golden saucer for now and heading straight to the Dust Bowl. In the Dust Bowl, there are 3 essential things we want to make sure we're picking up. The first is going to be the Umbral blade, which is a weapon for Cloud, which is directly downstairs in the mansion where we first start off in the Dust Bowl. The second thing we're going to pick up are going to be the Dragon Claws, which is another weapon, this time for Tifa, which is the reward for getting rank 3 of the Desert Rush minigame right here on the map. Also, before we go, we want to make sure we get the Noble Thieves Gloves. This accessory increases the steal success rate, and you can get these by going to the Underground Tourney here in the Dust Bowl. So you want to go to the circle bit over here to the right and then climb down the ladder. The first time you go to this area, you'll see there's only 3 different tournaments. However, once we've completed those 3 and we talk to the NPC again, we'll notice we have access to more tournaments. As you can see, the one right here is going to have the Noble Thieves Gloves as a reward. When we start chapter number 9, we're actually going to get one of the best materials in the game without even realizing it. The reason for this is Cait Sith joins the team and he actually comes with a Magnify Materia already equipped. Magnify Materia works the same way as in the first game, pretty much means whatever materia it's linked to allows you to use that in area. Whether that's a healing spell on your own team or let's say a thunder ability on the enemies, this will allow you to use it against various enemies at the same time. So of course you can take this away from Cait Sith and put it on whichever character you prefer. Once we make it out to the big open part of the desert here in South Corel, there are a few things we want to pick up as well. First of all, we want to go ahead and pick up the Swallowsong Bracer, which is a grade 6 armor. It's going to be in one of the chests here at the Rosslanden Reservoir. Also, definitely pick up the AP Up Materia, which is going to be the reward for the Corel Battle Intel Badlands Beasts. To unlock this combat challenge at Chadley, you do need to complete a few of the Fiend Intels in the Corel region. Now, like we mentioned before, make sure you finish up and do all of the Expedition Intels, which are the Life Springs, to unlock the Classified Intel, which is a battle against the King Tonberry. And now that we have this unlocked, we can finally go back and do the Saga of the Seaside in side quest, which we could have started back in Chapter 7. However, we couldn't have actually completed it until this point. We start this side quest by talking to Johnny here just outside of his Seaside Inn back in Costa del Sol. One of the steps to the side quest is going to ask us to craft the boiler valve. The blueprint to craft this item is actually given to us for doing the first of the excavation intels in Corel. That's the one we mentioned before back in the first area. Final step for this side quest is going to require a pristine crown. And that is why we need access to the King Tonberry classified intel we done just previously. Because to get the pristine crown, we need to pressure the King Tonberry fight, and this will make him drop the crown, and when it's dropped, you want to use steel on the crown itself. So that is it, guys. Those are the essential things you want to make sure you're doing before you leave the Corel region. I hope you did find this video helpful. If you did, don't forget that thumbs up button, subscribe for more content coming very soon, and we'll see you next time.